The scream echoed down Willow Creek Street long before anyone understood what had happened. Every neighbor who heard it said the same thing later. It was the kind of scream that came from a place of fear and pain so deep it could rip a hole through the sky. On that bright sunny afternoon, little Mara Thompson, an 8-year-old with blonde pigtails and glitter shoes, lay on the pavement gripping her leg as 3 teenage boys on bikes laughed and rode away, leaving her mother kneeling beside her, trembling and crying. But no one knew that on that same street, farther down the block, a group of motorcycles had stopped at a gas station, men the town avoided, judged, and feared, men who wore leather vests marked Hell's Angels. And when they saw what those boys had done, everything changed in a way no one could have ever predicted. Backhand index pointing right before we continue. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and judging people by their actions, not their appearance, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps more people find stories that restore faith in humanity. For weeks before the accident, life had been getting harder for Mara's mother, Harper. She was a single mom working 2 jobs since her husband abandoned them without warning. Mara had been the light of her world, the one thing that kept her fighting through exhaustion and loneliness. That day she finally had a rare break, a simple ice cream walk in the neighborhood to give her daughter joy. But the afternoon turned into a nightmare the moment the bikes approached. The 3 teenage boys, local troublemakers always protected by wealthy parents, raced toward the sidewalk intentionally, swerving closer, laughing as Mara froze in fear. One hit her. Harper could still hear the crack of her daughter's bone every time she closed her eyes. The emergency room, the ambulance ride, the crying, it was all a blur. The only thing clear in Harper's mind was how helpless she felt. The teens faced no charges. Their parents called it kids being kids. The police report ended there. Harper didn't sleep for days. Mara's leg was in a cast, and every time she winced from pain, Harper felt like she failed her as a mother. They sat every afternoon on the porch, Harper holding Mara while blaming herself, until one day, the rumble of engines returned. Across the street, a line of motorcycles rolled by, the same men the town whispered about, eyed with suspicion, and crossed the road to avoid. The Hell's Angels. Harper wrapped her arms around Mara protectively as the bike slowed down, stopped, and parked in front of their home. The neighborhood blinds shifted open as everyone peeked nervously. One of the bikers approached, tall, broad, covered in tattoos, intimidating in every way, but his eyes were surprisingly gentle. Harper could barely speak, terrified, but he raised both hands peacefully. His name was Axel Ward, and he was the club's vice president. He knelt to speak to Mara, his voice soft and steady. He said he had seen what happened that day. You didn't deserve that, he told her, and Mara, usually shy, felt safe enough to nod. Harper was stunned to learn that Axel himself had once been hit by bullies when he was younger, and that the club believed in protecting the defenseless. When Axel asked for the boys' names, Harper hesitated, afraid of violence. But Axel simply said, "We don't hurt kids. We hold people accountable the right way." A week passed before anyone saw the bikers again. Then suddenly, everything started happening at once. The boys who hurt Mara were expelled from school after videos of them bullying multiple kids, including Mara, surfaced anonymously. The boys' parents were forced to pay hospital expenses for every victim. The sheriff announced an investigation into the parents' bribery and influence. Everyone suspected who uncovered the evidence, but no one dared say it out loud. Then something even more unexpected happened. One morning, the engines returned, not in anger, but in unity. The entire Hell's Angels club pulled up in front of Harper's house, carrying stuffed animals, balloons, get-well messages, and gifts signed by dozens of motorcycle clubs across the state. They set up a barbecue fundraiser right on the street, and people who once judged them started joining in. They raised enough money not only to cover every medical bill, but to help Harper take time off work to care for her daughter. Mara, with her cast covered in biker signatures, smiled wider than she had since the accident, and for the first time in weeks, Harper cried tears of relief instead of regret. The story spread fast, first the neighborhood, then the town, then news stations. The community that once crossed the street to avoid those bikers now stood shoulder to shoulder with them, sharing food, music, and laughter. Axel lifted Mara gently onto a small motorcycle just to let her sit and feel brave again. The whole street cheered as she raised her arms proudly. Harper realized then that sometimes the people everyone fears are the ones who protect you the most, and the ones society praises are the ones destroying others in silence. Mara healed slowly, but she healed with confidence, not fear. She proudly told everyone that kindness can come from the most unexpected hearts. Harper found peace again, not because someone saved her, but because someone reminded her that she and her daughter were worth saving. Backhand index pointing right. If this true-to-life story touched your heart or restored your faith in humanity, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps us keep telling stories the world needs to hear. Speech balloon special request. In the comments, write, real heroes still exist. If you believe kindness can change everything, no matter who it comes